Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen, Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Continuing on from the hadith of Abu Hurairah, 191 from Kitab al-Siyam in Umdah al-Ahkaam by Ibn Qadim Maqdisi rahimahullah ta'ala, with the sharh of Sheikh Saad ibn Nasr al-Shithri. We left the hadith towards the end where we talked about the kafara, we talked about the different expiations and the moving on from different expiations, three types of expiation. If a person was to have relations with his spouse during the day in Ramadan once they are fasting. Now in this hadith also we have proof that it is permissible for you to take sadaqah from the people who are more noble, or from the rich, for example, or people who are more noble, or people in authority over you, because the Prophet ﷺ gave the man some dates in the end and the man took it. Likewise, it is also permissible for a person to take money from the sadaqah if it will help him pay off a debt or help him pay off an expiation. And the hadith is quite clear in this, where the man gave the man dates and told him to pay his expiation with this. Also in this hadith, we have Ahmad rahimahullah, who basically held the opinion that if one is not able to move on from doing any of these things, then he is completely free. So if he's not able to do any of the kafara, whether it's fasting or any other type of kafara, he's not able to free a slave, for example, or fast, or give or feed, if it was an oath that was broken, feed people or clothe them, or fast 2 consecutive months, or pay the diya, for example, or any form of other expiation. Imam Ahmad was of the opinion that there is nothing left for this person to do except tawbah. There is nothing left for this person to do except tawbah. However, the jumhur of the scholars, the majority of the scholars, say that it remains as a debt upon this person until he becomes or has enough wealth to fulfill the expiation. Now, the difference of opinion comes from the area in the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ gave the man some dates now and told him to give him an expiation. Now, does this mean that the man was not absolved of his responsibility of expiating, or does it mean that the Prophet ﷺ gave him sadaqah? If it means that Prophet ﷺ gave him sadaqah, it means that the man was not able to do anything and there was nothing upon him. However, if it means that it was an expiation, then it means that the Prophet ﷺ helped him pay off his expiation and that it remained binding upon him. Imam Ahmad obviously was of the opinion that there was nothing upon him, and that the fact that the Prophet ﷺ gave this man dates was sadaqah from the Prophet's behalf to him. However, the Jumhur say that no, he was not absolved of his expiation, and it remains as a debt upon him. And this is the Prophet ﷺ helped him, assisted him in feeding the poor people and fulfilling his expiation. And inshallah, hopefully, this seems to be the most safest view, and some of the scholars have held this view, but others from the scholars have stated that Imam Ahmad's view is also likewise very strong. However, like we said, the most safest view out of it is perhaps to remain upon the responsibility of the person and to fulfill the expiation, any form of expiation, when they are able to do it. Also in this hadith we have a proof that the Prophet ﷺ smiled, and it is permissible to laugh or smile if something pleases you or astonishes you. However, this kind of smiling and laughing is on the condition that you will not harm the person, that the person is not harmed by your smiling or laughing at them. However, it is permissible for you to smile or laugh if something, even if it is bad news perhaps, comes to you out of astonishment. But it's also narrated that the Prophet ﷺ used to say subhanallah if something surprised him. It is also from this hadith that it is a form of sadaqah to feed your family. So it is something that we need to take seriously, that we need to feed our family and maintain them and spend on them, and this is a form of sadaqah. And Prophet ﷺ described sadaqah not reducing people in their wealth in the slightest. So taking the responsibility of fulfilling the needs of your family and maintaining them, whatever is necessary for them, is something very, very important and very, very extremely encouraged in the Sharia, and something that we can't take lightly. There remains an issue, is the kafara. Who is the kafara upon? Now, some of the scholars have said that if somebody breaks their fast, whether it is through relations with their family or not, there is a kafara upon them. And this is the view of Imam Malik, that you must, if you break your fast, you must give the kafara. However, others from the scholars have stated that the kafara is only due on people if there was intercourse with their family. Now, this intercourse can happen whether you are a traveler or not, whether you are excused or not. Intercourse at any time during the day in Ramadan, whether you're somebody who is fasting or not, and this a second opinion is that you must give kafara. You must give kafara. Another view of the scholars is that it is only for those who are fasting, only for those who are fasting, that the kafara is wajib upon. So there are variation in the views between the scholars. However, what stands out to be the most correct opinion is that the people who are fasting, just as the man was fasting during the day in Ramadan, and if he has relations with his wife and he breaks his fast in this way, then this person must give an expiation. However, the traveller or the person who is not fasting for a legitimate Shari'i reason, inshallah, they do not need to give the expiation. They do not fall under this hadith because they are excused. However, it is better for them to refrain if they are able to, because of the virtue of the day of Ramadan. Like we said in this hadith, there are many fawaid, there are many things that we can take, and there are many things that we can learn from. But the general idea of this hadith is that if people have relations during the day in Ramadan, whilst they are fasting, or whilst fasting is wajib upon them, and there is nothing to excuse them from the Sharia from fasting, then these people need to either free a slave, a believing slave, or fast for 2 consecutive months, or feed 60 poor people. And like we said, the correct opinion, inshallah, is that if they are not able to do any of these things, then it remains upon them until they are able to do so. I ask Allah to make this beneficial for myself and for you, and that we have a blessed Ramadan full of ibadah and getting closer to Allah. هذا والله أعلم. صلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.